Hello guys, good evening. Today is November 8th. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings. Another decent day guys in the market, nothing out of unusual. We'll discuss our loss today on RBLX and what we could have done to change that. We'll discuss huge win on RIVN Short, Warner Brothers Short, NVDA long on a chart pattern that I will show you before and after. News long on Lilly mid of the day, short on Snow, CELH long, another small loss on ENVX, then other ideas on EBA, Upwork and UPST. We'll discuss all that. So there's a bunch of things to learn today, especially if you were trading at open. So stay put, and we will also discuss our 10 a.m. concept that I teach in. If you're my YouTube, you've been watching my past videos, you know about this concept that I teach, 10 a.m. trend, how the market was short after 10 a.m. rejection. So we will discuss that as well. So let's start with our introduction of our morning plan, what we are doing every day. So I'm up 45 minutes before the market opens. I'm up at the 45 minutes before, getting ready for the day. So there's always a repeatable routine every day. We go through all the news sources. We do a wake up briefing. We call it a wake up briefing. We go through all the news that's happening, macro, geopolitical, on the key news in the market. We check that out. Then we check our various news sources that we look at. I look at all the gappers, like I see bunch of news on small caps, large caps, earnings, analyst reports. We review those, review some more news sources, like you see here, Warner Brothers, which was on our watch list, Upstart, RIVN. There's a bunch of other names which were on our watch list. So we review that. I missed Lucid today on my watch list, should have there, but we got RIVN. So. And then more news movers, going through everything. And then finally our watch list is, before I create my watch list, I create my levels. You can see my levels here and you can compare those levels, how a lot of traders like to take these levels and try to do their own thing, and using the levels, and usually they are pretty, because they are the repeatable process, and most time when they work, they really work good and you could trade off them. So just take a screenshot, review them and how they worked out. So those were our levels today guys. And after reviewing all our levels, our watch list was ready. RIVN was on top of our watch list. So was RBLX, TTWO, Upwork, UPST, Warner Brothers. So a bunch of those names were on our watch list. I did miss, if I see something else come after 9:30, I add into my watch list, like today was Snow, CELH, which came up after, secondary on the watch list. This watch list, I send it out half an hour before, and then I see something that opens up as the day goes, I add into my watch list, like Lilly, CELH, Snow. These three trades came afterwards. These ideas came afterwards. And then we have our market indicators, and then we have our market plays. So with our watch list ready, we were the plan ready for what we were going to do. We kickstart our day. So as you see, I had planned for everything. We'll go individually. Plan for RBLX. I had a plan for RIVN, TTWO, Upwork, UPST, Warner Brothers, eBay, ENPS, ENVX. Those were the plans as well. And then we had plans on the marketplace as well. So let's start the recap with our first trade of the day, which was a loss for me, and let's discuss that. So what was the plan on RBLX? So how did I lose? So as those in our community know that we play two kind of plays, right? They know how the market moves. If you don't know, watch my webinars in the community. We have two things which we call as amateur move and trend move. So I try to position myself in an amateur move to see if I can get a starter position, because if the trend builds, then I can add into it. So with that reasoning, so what was the plan? The plan was clear. The breakout was over 42, which never came all day. We never got the breakout all day with room to 46. And the support was 39.20. This was the support. I already gave this support 39.20. You can read here 39.20. So that was the initial support. So but I took the long. I took the long right at open for the big push higher over the 42 as an amateur move, because if it held higher lows, then I would have added. But when I added at open, you know, risking 40 bucks, I was risking dollar on that trade. You know, on a starter size, if I take 5,000 shares, I just took 1,000 shares. You know, very small position, and then it started to pull back, and then even though it was a bullish trend, and then it broke 50 on a smaller time frame. On a smaller time frame, I closed my longs, right, because I had to risk manage. It was an amateur move, and then when it was giving me this wick down, then I positioned myself for a short, and only a starter short. It was not a confirmed short, because I wanted to be in the starter to see that if the trend really came, I already have my position myself into that. Now that when they swiped back it over the 512 EMA clouds, I knew that that's not going to work again, right? So another 60-70 cents loss there. You know, I was doing the shares. So then I shifted long, and then clear, you know, when I shifted long, then the clear stop loss was, if you see here, that I said, okay, where is it? So I already knew that there's no direction, and the Roku did something like this to us similarly. So I said the trend is clearly versus 39.20 that you can long at 9.53. I said it around here, $40-50. So now what happens? It started to push, you know, from 40.50, it pushed towards $42. You know, I recovered most the loss I did because I added little double position there. But the point is, we never could break out of 42. If we broke out of 42, it would have run to 44, 45. It would have been huge green day for me, right? Because I positioned myself for my final trade. But it never worked out. So I recovered some of the loss, and when this tight flag did not break out, so I got out. So there was no reason. So, you know, because we were having good time in other trades. So I got out of this trade, right? And then it's breaking down. I said that it's breaking 512. It's, you know, it will pull to 34.50. And that's what happened when I said that, you know. So that 512 clouds didn't hold, it'll pull to 50. Could I have done it better? Yes, I should have. I could have avoided my amateur long. I could have waited for this pullback and then traded half size this bounce from 39.60s to 42s. Yes, and I'm sure many of you did that because that was our risk level. You see, that was our support to buy, right? So that was our support to buy. But I was trying to position myself, and you know, if it broke out further, you know, could have worked out for me. So there was some mismanagement definitely, but this is part of our game, and you have to manage. If you know, I like to trade at open. I like to trade at first 5 minutes because, you know, I like that, reading the tape and getting that in a position for a bigger move. But if you do not like to trade the open, you should avoid it. You should wait for this trend move, like I explain in my webinars, amateur move and trend move. And if I did not do that, you know, if I just waited for my support for the trend move, I would have made $2, almost $3 I would have made, right? But anyways, so that's what I wanted to explain, the trading at open. So must review this again and again. And this happens. It similarly happened to us on the Roku, but Roku ended up going super for $7 and ended up green, you know, huge green. So same would have happened with RBLX. So there's many ways of trade, many ways to manage your position. There's many ways to do it. So you don't have to, that's what I encourage everyone on Twitter, even on people in my community. You have to do what works out for you, for your personal personality, right? You don't have to chase. So there are still people very green on RBLX because they waited for the trend move. They bought it here. You know, the person DM'd me and he thanked me for the levels, you know, but it was his conviction, right? He risked 39.20, he bought 39.80 or something on the trend move, and he sold right at the top, and he did good. So that's what everybody has to do. But still we need to understand how we could do better, how we could improve. All right, guys, enough of the loser. Let's move to the winners. So guys, RIVN plan was simple. Bullish versus 1820, 1840. If that level breaks, we go into the gap fill. No long, no long. Here you can see my time-stamped guidance. And as soon as I saw that, that's a breaking down, right? It's breaking down. And then I added the short. I said good, because it was as per the pre-market plan. Good short can still short on big pops. I said it in first 5-7 minutes. You wait for the pop or you add starters, clear risk over EMA clouds. And then all I had to do was manage my position, look at my targets. That's all I had to do. So I said 17 target, do not long please. 17 target I gave it. I gave another target after 20 minutes and I said do not long. That was my first target. The RIVN 17 target coming, and I said we get some more. We get some more, and then finally I said at 10 a.m. that you can cover some at 17, and then some bounces. You can always add more in bounces because your average is really up here, and you can add a little bit more. And then next target was 1670, and I said that 10:15, and by 10:40 my 1670 target was met, right? And 18 puts went 120%. The 17 lotos went 400%. I was in the shares, but you have enough time to trade the RIVN puts for 666 trade. And we started to cover a little bit more as we went, right? It was bouncing on 512 EMAs. And then my final target, because I was still holding 1/3 of it, let's see what was my final target. Yeah, my target was 1613 was my final target. We hit 1633, very close. And the 17.5 puts went 1000%. Now I feel I should have traded those options, because somebody in the floor was trading the options and he made 300%, and he sent me that, and I was like, wow, So that's the power of puts, guys. You make money. Let's say you're making money. You shorted 2,000 shares, and by 17, or here you made $1,500. You use 500 of those dollars, buy the puts, lotto puts, so from the profit money, and those 500 puts can become another 1,500. If they go to zero, that's fine, because they're out of your profit that you made by shorting the shares. So this is how you trade, scale in, grow. So RIVN. So I don't care. I was moving on Roblox. I was doing so good on RIVN. You could have shorted, which was not on my watch list. You could have shorted Lucid. You could have shorted Lucid. Same setup, little choppy. I avoid these $3-4 shorts because it's not enough range for me. But that was again a good setup. All right, guys, let's go to the next one. Warner Brothers, guys, was just a very simple, stress-free trade. And wow, what was the conviction in the Warner Brothers trade? What was my conviction? My conviction in the Warner Brothers trades was the 10 level, guys. Psychological 10 level. That was my conviction. And that's what did I say? Bearish bias on pops, short, but 10 is a support. We have to watch it. And I said as soon as market opened, it's a short under 10. I said still heavy. Low range, its range is low. I didn't, because it's a 60 ATR, and then, so that's why I was like scalp as long as that. 10 cent, and then I was just joking because the range is so small. But anyways, by end of the day, it hit 940. My target was 950, even though I covered mostly everything in 960s. Because I was risking what? I was barely risking 10 cents, and I made 40 cents. That's one risk to 4 reward trade, guys. So so that was a beautiful stress-free trade. If you can short, you should short shares. And I don't know how the options did on these, but Warner Brothers was just a simple, easy trade. Nice win. Okay, let's talk about NVIDIA. NVIDIA today got good win. I mean, it was giving us the profit, but then it was choppy too, right? But it never broke the 3450. Why was I interested in NVIDIA? So why was I interested in NVIDIA? So let's see. So reason I was interested in NVIDIA was because of this setup, right? So I often discuss this setup in my webinars and other stuff because I even discussed it yesterday with you guys in yesterday's video, because this setup is a downtrend channel breakout, and when usually this happens, it gives a really nice push. So that's why I was interested. And not only that, on the intraday chart, we were breaking out of this nice looking 1 hour trend line. If you see here, right, bullish 1 hour trend, 10-minute bullish, all the trend is bullish, there's nothing bearish. So that's why I was interested and told everybody to, you're gonna scalp long. And then from the morning push, we hit 466. So we did hit 466 from the morning push, and I moved my stops to 462 up, just to preserve my profits. And when it hit 462, you get out. But when it's retesting it and holding that level, and somebody was asking me if it didn't stop out, then I said, now your risk is 460 area under the EMA clouds. So you can have those, but you always sell most of your position on the first 10 AM pop, guys. Look at this. 10 AM pop. If you have 10 contracts, sell 6 of them, log whatever you make on those, and then break even the last ones. If it's fading, break even the last one. So that's what you have to do, which you can't do with a small account, of course, but if you're trading options, that's what you need to do. If you're trading shares, if you have 500 shares, sell 300 shares here, and if it doesn't hold, sell the 200 break evens, because you never let a green turn trade red, guys. So that's the thing. But anyways, so NVIDIA was the all day guidance. I said take some off, first target on NVIDIA, stops 462. Then we were like, okay, so when it held EMA clouds, then it held EMA clouds, you can add again, or you can, if you're still in, then you keep moving stops up again. But the problem was the same, the big wicks, right? Even if you were profitable, it was wicking you out. And then it's second time again it held EMA clouds, and your risk should have been the same, because once you are locking on the pops, okay, you lock on the pops, and then other piece you are more comfortable with holding a little bit more, and then the patience finally paid with the third one, and you have to match it with the market. We'll talk about the market in a minute, but you have to see that what the market is doing. Market was doing, so we knew NVIDIA would do that crazy move in the close, because look at the market push in the close right here. So you can see the market was pushing, so NVIDIA pushed, right? And look at the bigger picture never changed. And my target was 470 because a lot of call flow came in. I did mention some more call flow. We saw a lot of strong calls coming in. So yeah, so this was basically the whole day guidance on NVIDIA. I made most of the money in my morning trade, and the rest of them were just scalps, because I stopped out here. But I know a lot of you all in the community did really good on NVIDIA. So yeah, so this is before and after, guys. This chart. Before I shared it yesterday, actually I shared it yesterday, and then after, right? So nice trade there. As long as you didn't chase, as long as your entry was closer, you're fine. But if you chased higher, then it's a problem. If either you get the best entry or you just leave it. Closer to the risk you buy, better it is, guys. Remember that. So rolling the profit means, let's say you are in 600, you have 100 shares and you made $700-800, and now you have, let's say, $1,000 worth of profit, and the stock is up at 610 or 615, you have $1,500 of profit. Then you find some other options because the stock is still running, there's no reason to cut, it's still holding the trend. Then you find a 640 calls or a 630 calls or whatever. From that $1,500 or $1,000 that you see your profit, you take out 500, 600, 700 and buy those lot of options. And what is a lot of options? There's 100% risk on those lot of options. They either go to zero or they give you 100 or 150% returns. So that's how you keep rolling, using your profit. Because you're already green, you will never turn red unless you just gamble all your profit, but you just, use a part of that profit. And that's what we did. And that's why I was saying keep rolling, no reason to bail. Keep rolling on Lily, right? So keep rolling your profits. So very, very nice strategy, especially to grow your accounts exponentially. When there's a trend, you keep rolling and you keep growing it. All right, guys, on to next one. So snow, okay, so what was up with snow? So this was a call, this was an idea from somebody on the floor, and he was asking me, hey Rip, what should we do with the snow? And I liked it because big day yesterday on snow. And what was it doing today? It was breaking the EMA clouds. Look at the 1 hour candle, look carefully. It was, okay, let me remove this. It was breaking down from the 1 hour level. It was breaking the support and it was breaking this down trend line. You see that, right? So that's why I said under 159 is bearish, under 157 it's more bearish. So when we were talking about it, it was early morning and snow faded from 159 all the way to 156. Breaking under the clouds, bearish setup, breaks 157.70, we should get some more. So nice, it was a decent $2.50, $3 fade. Because if it really was more heavy, then we would have expected, like on a Fibonacci level, we would have expected it to fade further, right? But it held its support at this yesterday's 1 hour candle highs from pre-market. But anyways, that was good midday, nice short scalp for everyone. Snow was good, so yeah, so everybody did good on snow there as well. Let's move to the next one. So what was CELH? So CELH was a midday setup, right? Sorry, day 2 setup. Why day 2 setup? Yesterday was earnings. So whenever there's earning day 1 that I discuss in my webinars, you watch the play for the day 2 setup. So you watch the play for day 2 setups. That's what I said on the voice. So the day 2 setup, when it turned bullish over the EMA clouds, that was the long. It was turning bullish because I watched the strength right at open, and I was interested that you have to keep eyes for long, and it was relative strength. And then it was just some guidance on the voice and talking to people on the floor to how to trade this. I missed, I should have had it like earlier, but anyways, I was guiding the people who were in the CELH trade on the floor. There were a bunch of people, they were like doing CELH because I discussed it yesterday. Good earnings, good stock. So CELH was doing good, and I was just gave the target. So my final target was let's see, so my final target was, first target was 186.30 that I gave, and we crossed that target comfortably. We started in the morning from 180s, we crossed the target and we pushed to 180 188s, right? My target was 189, so I was short by 23 cents, right? So I was short on CELH target by 23 cents. But regardless, nice midday trade there. So ENVX was another loser for me because it was frankly a very choppy action today. I should have just avoided it, not kept on my watch list, because it was up on some news and there was a little range, and I tried to short it right at open. I was trying to short it and it held and swiped back on me, and then I realized it's of no use because it's going sideways, and I bailed. I took small loss there. So no setup, as you can see. I could have left it off my watch list, but I paid for it. But that's fine, part of game. Nice. So let's look at the eBay. So what was the plan eBay? I personally did not trade it, but there was a plan on eBay. The bearish bias was under 37. But the same level that gives us bearish bias gives us a level for a B minus bounce. So I noticed after 20 minutes, I didn't touch eBay or talked about eBay, but my plan was there because some people were long it, it turned bullish. So when I noticed that it turned bullish, you could still have that bullish trade versus 37.92 or lower level, and then it was turned into a B plus bullish setup. You know, where did it turn? EMA Cloud system turned it bullish right here, and it held EMA Cloud, and moved on. So someone was asking me about the targets on eBay. So my target was, what was my target? Let's see. My target was 40, and we did hit the 40 target there. So yeah, so eBay 40 target met. Yeah, so Majestic was asking my target, and I told him 40 is the target. We had the target. See, there are a lot of these trades I don't do, but I have a plan and I'm guiding my community, because everybody, that's what it makes the community. I'm so happy because everybody is trading different things, what they like, what they want to trade. You know, I can't trade 10 things, you know, but so you have to trade what you need to trade, and that's how you can be profitable following your consistent trades. All right, let's go to the next one. So TTW did not give anything today. I was, you know, because I had a plan for bullish to neutral, but it was heavy right at open, and then it started to fade. I was watching it for a gap fill later under this level, but it never gave me, and by the time it faded, you know, I was talking about that it can fade. By the time it faded, it was too late. You know, it faded from 144. What was our level? So gap fill under 144 areas, right? So by the time it faded to 143s, it was too late. So there was nothing there to see. So let's move to the next one. So Upwork, guys, Upwork was another play that was a beautiful idea this morning. So what was the plan on Upwork? As you can read, the plan was on Upwork was simple. Under 1440, 14 will be the gap fill. Hold this, will be bullish, and it broke that level right at open. It broke that level, and I said right away, I said it's going to fill the gap, you know, and it filled most of the gap, and it hit. You know, 12 was my ideal target, but we went close. We went to 1230. Right, you short at open right here, you fade it, scalp it, amateur move turns to trend move, get out as you get closer to the gap fill trade. So that was Upwork, guys. Working idea, beautiful. So UPST, what was the idea? The problem with UPST today was UPST was giving us, I mean, it was so extended already that it didn't leave much. Even though if it broke 2070, I was expecting that it will fade, right? I was expecting that it will fade, and I wanted to short it on the pops, right? But they kept holding that 2090. They kept holding that 2090, and then only trade there could have been a B minus bounce versus that 2090 towards the EMA clouds. And if somebody were shorting it, it was okay, but it was just a tight range, up and down, resistance, up and down, resistance. And I just said it's a waste of time. You know, it's a waste of time in that range. You know, it was this was the range all day. You couldn't do much with this range, right? What can I do with this scalpy range, right? So yeah, just a void today, void. So let's talk about a trade that was not in the community, not in my idea, but it was, you know, called out by Brad. So that was good because it was such a nice setup. It tries to go EMA clouds here, rejection under EMA clouds. You can add short here, and then it dumps under pre-market lows, and then it fades to 820s. I mean, just a beautiful setup. I love it. I mean, I just want to make a journal of this, you know, because these are the setups we play day in, day out in our community. All right. So let's look at the last one. So let's look at SPY QQQ guidance today. So guys, SPY QQQ was, you know, it was all about that the 10 a.m. concept I teach. So we saw that what we saw was Jai, you know, who's our flow expert. We have a proprietary flow tool where we look at SPX 0DT flow coming in, and we could see that they were selling the calls right at 10 a.m. and right after that it faded, and then it was all about this range that I even shared on Twitter. I personally didn't short it, but this was the short guidance in the room, and you could see how it faded under that level, And I mean, on 1 hour it's fine, it's just doing its thing. It's, you know, it was just pulling back to the clouds. You can see on the 1 hour SPY is just pulling back, but still there was enough room for you to short. You can clearly see the 10 a.m. concept again and again I teach, and then bear flag, further breakdown into the 1 hour EMA clouds, right? So that was that, and then the reversal came. If you want to see the reversal, I'll show you. If you want to see that, what happened with the reversal. So let's look at the reversal here. So I had my price alerts set which tell me that reversal is coming, right? When did you see QQQ over 3450? So when QQQ went over 3450, then it pushed higher into 373s, and I even had it over 512. So let me show you, where was it? Let's see if we can find it. So okay, SPY crossing over 512, 436. That was my, so that was on SPY right here was my alert, and then it pushed over 3450 for nice reversal. So you see how we know when system tells us that when it's reversal, when it's a short. So you could easily trade SPY QQ up and down, and that's what we do day in day out in community. So just wanted to talk about that on SPY QQQ. You know, we are always with the trend. We know what we are doing. We know that what's the trend of the market. Is it a chop, downtrend, uptrend, and we stay with it. So the video went a little long today, guys, but so anyways, if you want to join the community, trade with me or follow me on Twitter, ask me any questions on YouTube comments. I'm happy to help, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.